The world is obsessed with appearance. If someone looks on up to standard, they get ignored and looked down upon. Especially with animals, they get locked up or even have their lives threatened. There are even cases where animals are driven to extinction because of it. As you watch this video, I hope you can find some comfort for those animals, even just a little. Have you ever heard of animals that were cruelly captured and met their deaths because of humans? Meet the Chinese giant salamander. It's the largest amphibian species in existence, but because of its enormous size and appearance, it was once treated as a monster. The South China giant salamander can grow up to 180 centimeters, which, from a human's perspective, would understandably be a terrifying size. On top of that, giant salamanders have poor eyesight because their eyes have degenerated, so they hunt prey using sensory nodes on the tips of their noses, and if a human happens to be nearby, they often bite, mistaking them for food. Because of this, humans either killed them or kept them locked up for life. Especially in China, the salamander's cry sounds like a baby's, leading to absurd rumors that it had eaten missing children. This led to them being called Waiwayu or Wawawu in China. In Japan, there was even a rumor that the famous yokai Kappa was actually a giant salamander, which worsened its image. And if that wasn't enough, there was once a viral photo claiming that Fukushima's radiation had turned them into giant mutant salamanders. The fact that they are naturally big caused a lot of misunderstanding. In reality, even if an animal mutates due to radiation, it wouldn't grow proportionally like that. Fortunately, today, Japan protects the giant salamanders and ensures their survival. But the problem is in China. In China, giant salamanders are used as food. Why? Because there's a rumor that the mucus of the Chinese giant salamander contains substances beneficial to humans.
If that thing popped out while I was hiking in a valley, I'd faint on the spot. Thank goodness we don't encounter frequently.
Have you heard the story of the lion that was trapped on a farm in South Korea for 20 years? In 2002, a small and adorable lion cub was born. Its name was Sasuni. But right after it was born, it was locked in a cage. In Korea, the legal minimum space for a lion cage is 14 square meters. As long as it's larger than 14 meters in length and width, it's allowed. Sasuni lived there, pacing in circles because no matter how far it walked, it always hit the cage walls. On the concrete floor, Sasuni would scratch the bars over and over. An expert once said that such repetitive behavior is a sign of stress and that the animal is engaging in meaningless actions. Sasuni lived like this for nearly 20 years. Then, one day, while cleaning the cage, a manager accidentally left the door open. Sasuni immediately bolted out of the cage and escaped. This triggered an emergency alert in the area. People screamed and ran away. But when Sasuni was found, it was sitting quietly in a field, gazing at nature. It was found about 20 kilometers away from the farm. Sasuni was sitting on the dirt for the first time, feeling nature. It had longed to lie under the shade of a tree, outside the bars of a cage. But eventually, Sasuni was shot and killed. When the news broke, there was a debate. Did they really have to kill Sasuni? Why didn't they use a tranquilizer? But if they had tranquilized Sasuni and put it back in the cage, would Sasuni have been happy? Experts say that we should never keep wild animals in captivity in the first place. It's better for both the animals and the people. At this very moment, all around the world, in closed-down zoos, the only sounds are the cries of the animals trapped inside. Do you know what kind of animal this is? This is a spectacled bear with all its fur fallen off. Its appearance has deteriorated so much that people don't even recognize it as a bear anymore. So how did this bear end up losing all its fur? This bear was living happily in the Amazon rainforest with its family, but one day, poachers showed up. They killed all its parents right in front of it. This bear, along with its younger sister, was sold to a circus. They were passed from hand to hand until they were finally rescued. But the problem was, this bear had lived its whole life in the vast Amazon rainforest. It was tough for it to adapt to the artificial environment of a zoo or sanctuary. All it had were a few patches of grass and some trees. It was a huge source of stress for the bear and its sister. After losing its parents, the two bears survived by relying only on each other. But not long after, something shocking happened. The younger sister had a tragic accident and got caught in the zoo fence. She died shortly after. The bear lost everything, its home, its parents, and now its sister. That's when its fur began to fall out piece by piece. The bear, now depressed, stopped eating properly and started wasting away. After 4 years, it lost all its fur and no longer looked like a bear as people know them. The bear was just waiting for death. But then, one day, a ray of hope appeared. An international animal protection organization got permission from the zoo to send the bear to a rainforest sanctuary. It was to be sent back to the Amazon rainforest, the place where it was born and raised. For the bear, which had lived such a miserable life, this was a huge opportunity. Before it returned home, it was treated for its skin disease. And when it arrived in the rainforest, you could see the joy in its face. It instinctively knew it was home. The bear even made a friend with another bear in a similar situation. Now they lived together, relying on and trusting each other. The sanctuary staff said they would do everything possible to help the bear's fur grow back. This is a video of the bear's moment of return to the Amazon rainforest. Take a look.
Man, I almost lost faith in humanity. But I'm really thankful there are still people who help out.
Yeah, when this news came out, many people criticized the poachers who killed the bear's family. People who abuse animals really make you want to give them a taste of their own medicine. Have you ever heard of an animal that went extinct purely because of human hatred? It's the animal you see in the video. The thylacine, also known as the Tasmanian wolf or Tasmanian tiger. It was the largest carnivorous marsupial to survive into recorded history. At 1.5 meters long, it preyed on animals smaller than itself. Like in the video, it could open its mouth incredibly wide, almost like a snake or crocodile. It was also said to hop on its hind legs like a kangaroo at times. So, how did this thylacine go extinct? The problem started with this photo. It shows a thylacine holding a chicken in his mouth, a chicken that someone owned. After seeing the photo, people began killing thylacines, claiming they were attacking livestock. And when the sheep didn't breed as expected, European settlers falsely accused the thylacine of harming them. They spread deliberate lies, but it was actually the European dogs that were killing the sheep. Later, it was revealed that this photo had been staged, but by then, the thylacine population had plummeted. In 1928, the Tasmanian Animal Protection Advisory Committee stated that thylacines should be protected. They even set up a sanctuary, but farmers strongly opposed this and continued to hunt them. The truth is, the thylacine had never harmed humans in any way, yet humans hunted it for its fur, for entertainment, and to capture and stuff it. This senseless extinction campaign continued, and on September 7, 1936, the thylacine officially became extinct due to humans. Today, there are discussions about whether we should try to revive animals that humans have driven to extinction. Of course, some people argue that reviving extinct species is wrong.
The real issue isn't the restoration. It's the people who recklessly slaughtered the thylacines in the first place.
That's right. There are actually more animals than you'd expect that have gone extinct because of humans. I hope we can learn from that and take better care of the animals that are still around. Have you ever seen a giraffe with no spots? It's an albino giraffe. In fact, an albino giraffe family was spotted in northeastern Kenya, including a mother and her albino calf. Seeing such an albino giraffe in the wild is incredibly rare. Albino animals, especially those with white skin, often struggle to survive to adulthood.
I can just lie in my room and watch white giraffes now. What a time to be alive.
That's right. But then, a shocking comment was posted. They said to take the video down immediately. Why? Because the video description included the exact location where the giraffe was filmed. And shockingly, not long after, poachers showed up. It was reported that the mother giraffe was killed by poachers, leaving people stunned. Many were enraged at the humans who killed such a beautiful creature. Some even demanded that the remaining calf be moved to a safer location immediately. What do you think when you see this animal?
It looks kinda scary, but still cute, right?
This creature with long fingers and scary eyes is the aye-aye. It's a type of lemur native to Madagascar and is the largest nocturnal primate. The aye-aye's name itself has a fascinating origin. A Frenchman once asked the indigenous people of Madagascar what this animal was. They responded in shock, shouting "aye aye," and that's how the name stuck. Even among the indigenous people, mentioning the aye-aye was taboo. Why? Because of its appearance. With its long, thin fingers and creepy eyes, it was seen as a harbinger of evil and death. If an ai was found as a baby, the locals would kill it on sight. Since it's nocturnal, just imagine how terrifying it would be to encounter one while walking at night. As a result, the ai population has been drastically declining. I feel bad for the ai, a creature facing extinction just because of how it looks.
What did the I ever do wrong? In the end, it's always people who are the problem.
That's right, it seems like looks really are a tool for survival. Maybe one day, only animals that humans find cute will survive. Did you know that there was a white lion trapped underground for 7 years in South Korea? This happened at a theme park in Daegu, situated in the southeast of the country. Due to financial difficulties caused by COVID-19, the theme park, which had been keeping the white lion, closed in May of last year. The underground zoo on the second basement level was dark and filled with trash. The white lions brought here had been trapped underground for 7 years.
An indoor zoo on the second basement floor. Does that even make sense? Let's start by punishing the person who approved that.
Yes, many people argued that this was animal abuse. Eventually, Daegu City fined the zoo about $2,500. But while the zoo paid the fine and moved on, the 324 animals inside would remain trapped in that narrow underground space for the rest of their lives, especially the white lion couple, who were stuck in a 8 square meters enclosure, just eating and sleeping over and over. But then, Daegu's Nature Park Zoo decided to rescue them. They announced plans to take all 324 animals for $1,000, sedate them, and relocate them. After 7 years, the white lions finally breathed fresh air. They looked around curiously at the unfamiliar surroundings, sniffing the earthy scent. The outdoor enclosure they were moved to was 495 square meters, more than 60 times larger than where they had been underground. And more importantly, they can now live under the blue sky instead of a dark underground ceiling. Luckily, even before their relocation, the Nature Park Zoo had been regularly providing them with proper food, so their health hadn't deteriorated much. I can't even imagine how frustrated they must have felt. I'm so grateful to Nature Park Zoo for saving them. If any of you have planned to visit Daegu in South Korea or plan to visit a zoo, I hope you can visit Nature Park. People were in tears watching a tiger walk through the grass. An official said, "I felt so sorry when I saw the tiger trembling because it had never touched the ground before." This tiger family had been trapped in a train for over 10 years. In 2007, a circus in Argentina abandoned 2 tigers inside a train. Not long after, 2 cubs were born. So, for a total of 4 tigers, that train, which was about 75 meters long, became their home. When the locals found out, they brought food to feed the tigers, but the tigers grew thinner because they weren't eating properly. They couldn't even run freely in that locked train. The cubs born there had never felt dirt, grass, or nature. When this news spread further, an animal rescue organization immediately sent a team to Argentina. Even though they were predators, people were nervous as they started the rescue, but people were shocked and moved to tears. The tigers, after being trapped for so long, were trembling as they stepped on the ground for the first time. Dr. Amir Khalil, a wildlife expert who rescued the tigers, said that fortunately, all 4 were in good health. He described it as a miracle that these active tigers survived for 15 years trapped inside a train.
The way they're rubbing their faces together, it's like they're comforting each other, saying, "You've been through a lot." It's so heartwarming and kind of sad.
Right? I hope everyone involved in this rescue is blessed. If you feel the same, don't forget to subscribe.